Welcome everybody, I'm your coach 101 for 101 Kilo Fitness and fitandleandown.com. Today's video, 9 training rules for a flat belly. Now we all want to lose fat, we all want to look good naked, we all want to have a six-pack. But depending on who you listen to, if you read the magazines, you listen to the pros in the gym, they all tell you that you have to do high volume, they all tell you that you use a lot of reps. So high reps is to cut a muscle, low reps are to build a muscle. Nothing can be further than the truth, because depending on the circumstances, you can still build muscle with higher reps. It just depends on various factors such as like the perceived rate of failure. Okay, but that's for another video altogether. That when you try and lose fat, you do not want to go. You do not want to go higher reps. Okay, and higher reps, I'm talking about 12, 15 reps plus. Okay, 15, 20 reps plus. The only benefit you'll get from having high reps is that you'll get a bit more of a pump. So it makes you think that you're actually working harder. But you cannot measure efficacy by how hard you're training, how much you're sweating by. You judge it by your rate of progress. And if you're not making progress and losing muscle and not losing fat, is one of the reasons why could be because you're using higher reps. Okay, as same thing as doing higher volume. So going back to the higher reps, basically you'll get a better pump and you'll have a better nutrient delivery to the muscles. Okay. Because of the better blood flow. But since you're actually eating less food anyway, it's kind of defies the logic. It's all well and good doing a burn set, for example, or a death set of 50 reps at the end of your workout when you're trying to build muscle, but it's another thing completely when you're trying to lose fat, because all you're doing is actually depleting your glycogen stores, and the body cannot make much, or rather limited the amount of protein synthesis it can make when it's in a fat loss phase, because you're in lower calories. Okay, so lower volume, use lower volume again, and do not such high reps. So let's start with number 1. Use mostly compound exercises. Given that you are going to be training, you want to deplete your, shall we say, you want to lose fat. Okay, you're not looking to shape the muscle as such. You're not looking to build the muscle. So you need to use the exercises that are going to give you the biggest bang for your bucks. The biggest exercises that are going to create the most energy deficit. Okay, something like a deadlift is going to create more of an energy deficit, or rather it's going to burn a lot more fat and make you help you keep the muscle on your body than say something like the seated hamstring curl or the lying hamstring curl. Okay, not only that, but you're going to use the amount of muscles. You want to use exercises that are going to use the most amount of muscles. All right, so that's one of the reasons why you want to use compound exercises. Second one, use low volume. So like I said before, the pros will have you saying that we've got to use a high volume. Basically in everything in life, every phase in life, we all think that the more that you do, the better that you become. Something like I don't know if you've heard of the 10,000 hour rules. 10,000 hour rule, you become good at something. And the more you practice, the better, the more you get good at it. The more you write, the better you become at writing. For example, the more you read, the better become at reading, the better become at writing and absorbing information and stuff like this. And the more you practice with computers, if you're a computer programmer, the better you become. Okay, but when it comes to fat loss, this is not the case, because you're dealing with hormones. All you're going to do when using high volume is you're going to use up more glycogen, and glycogen directly impairs the amount of protein synthesis the body can make. So if you've got if you're eating a limited amount of calories, your glycogen is going to be depleted anyway. And so if you cannot make protein synthesis, and you're just going to you're going to create a lot of cortisol, okay, simply because your body has a limited amount of capacity to recover from the high volume because of a limited amount of nutrients that you're taking in. So you're going to use up valuable glycogen okay, that is used to make protein synthesis in the muscle and to keep the muscle on your body. So all you're doing by using high volume is actually not being able to, you're increasing the amount of cortisol that you're releasing and not actually doing any favors to your body, because you're going to require more carbs, but you're giving it less carbs. So it's a kind of a catch-22 situation. All right, so number 3, train at high intensity. So what I mean by train at high intensity, try and keep your rest times honest. So it's not just doing an exercise, going through the motions and then resting for like 5-6 minutes and then doing the exercise again. All right, because what you can be doing is you're actually not, you're using energy that you're not supposed to be having that energy in the first place. So the whole idea is to try and deplete your, do the exercise at an intensity, a high enough intensity to try and force the body to hold on to the muscle and try and lose that fat to begin with. Otherwise what you're doing is it's just turning into a strength kind of exercise whereby you're not using up the stored energy as such, okay? Number 4 is rest long enough to perform your best. And that's kind of ties in with number 3. So we're talking about keeping the rest times honest. With regards to point number 4, rest long enough, you want to rest excuse me, just long enough to be able to perform the same number of reps and with the same amount of load of any given exercise. So if you're doing 100 kilograms for 6 reps on deadlifts on round 1, and then you have to go to, I don't know, round 3, you're going to have to use like 90, round 4, you're going to have to use 80, then you're not resting long enough, okay, to be able to recover. Generally, your rest time should be between 1 to 2 minutes max, okay? Train as though you're trying to build muscle. When you're building muscle, you're resting up to 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes, sometimes even more depending on what exactly you're doing. But try and keep it to about 2 minutes. If you're not recovering after 2 minutes, then maybe you need to take the load down, okay? And try and complete with the same amount of load throughout the whole entire circuit until that you get fitter, and then you're able to you're able to use a heavier load, okay? Use your heart rate as an indicator. If your heart rate is still going like 140 or 150 after like the first round, like 2 minutes, then obviously you're working very hard. You're not going to be able to push yourself as hard on the second round with the same load, okay? So that's what you really want to do. The last thing you want to do is go into round 1 and you think, oh geez, I've gassed myself out now, I have to use a lower load, okay? Number 5, control the negative and explode on the positive. So you want to kind of come, the eccentric portion, the lowering should be about 3 seconds down, okay? You don't need to be kind of hold your breath in like 1, 2, 3, okay? You don't need to be anal about it, just as long as you're controlling the negative, because the last thing that you want is to get injured. And also controlling the negative will use some more muscle fibers. You don't want to use momentum, especially when you're doing something like the bench press or the squats, for example. You don't want to come down at speed, because I think about all that torque, all that tension is coming down on your joints, okay? And that if you're doing like 100 kilogram squats and you're coming down at speed, that's not 100 kilograms. That's more than 100 kilograms, because the force, the inertia that's actually coming from the weight itself is a lot more than 100 kilograms. Okay, and you want to explode on the positive, because that's going to use up a lot more type 2 muscle fibers. Okay, it doesn't matter if the weight is heavy and you cannot explode, if you cannot push it fast enough, as long as the intention is there, the brain will then start to engage those muscle fibers. Okay, that's why before you start your workout, you will do something explosive to try and arouse the central nervous system, okay, and help it recruit more muscle fibers. Training frequency, number 6, 3 to 4 times a week. All right, so no doubt that you're going to be using something like some form of cardio or some kind of bodyweight exercises, because when you're training to lose fat, you are in a race against time. So the more that you do, the the faster you're going to lose your body fat. Obviously, I don't mean that you do weights 7 days a week, okay, but you want to do weights about 3 to 4 times a week, and then the other days you want to use a mixture of body weight exercises, loaded carries, and some form of cardio, whether it's like tire flipping or use the prowler or sled, something like that, okay, away from your weight training session to give your central nervous system a break. 7, limit advanced techniques, so stuff like negative, force reps, cluster sets, and burn sets, okay. These kind of things have their time and place, but not in a fat loss phase, okay. You don't want to tire out the central nervous system, especially during these times of lower calories in a hypercaloric diet, and you don't want to fatigue it by using these kind of things. Leave it for the times when you are in a surplus and you're able to push yourself, okay. Number 8, supersets are fine as long as you're using a good enough load to be able to go almost to failure on both sets. You don't want to, on both exercises, you don't want to use a load that's not going to challenge you. All right. Number 9, use heavier weights. Yes, you want to keep the muscle on your body. You want to train to build muscle, okay? And the whole idea is that when you are in a calorie deficit or a hypercaloric diet, hypo is opposite of hyper. Hypo is less, hyper is hype, like more, okay? When you are in a deficit, then your body will shed muscle mass. The reason being is because it uses up more energy, unnecessary energy for the body. So what you want to do, you want to give it a reason to be able to hold on to that muscle. You want to tell it, no, I need that muscle because I'm going to be lifting heavy ass weights. That's one of the reasons why you don't want to be lifting higher reps and lower weights, because all you're telling the body is, well, I don't need this kind of weight, okay? And bonus number 10, keep carbs high for as long as possible. Now the norm is to cut the carbs and try and kind of lose fat that way, and which is fine because you're going to be cutting one of the nutrients, either carbs or fat. But what you want to do is what I want you guys to do is to keep it high as long as possible. The reason being is that you're going to be able to perform better with the carbs higher. So I'd rather that you're able to do more with higher amount of carbs and therefore get you go quicker rather than cutting carbs out too quickly. And what will happen is you'll be training like 3 times a week and then you're just going to be like lethargic. So I'd rather that you're able to go to the gym, have a workout, then be outside and just be active throughout the whole day because your body is getting nutrients. There is research that shows that when you're eating less food, you become more lethargic and therefore not able to push yourself. Okay, and the last thing that you want when you're trying to lose fat is just sit around and not sit around the whole day, because that's not going to get you to burn any fat. Alright guys, so I hope this video helpful. Let me know if it was by hitting the like button, leave me a comment, let me know what videos you want me to do next, and as always subscribe to the channel so you get notifications when the videos are up. The videos are going up, new videos are going up every week. Alright guys, have a great day. I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.